Good evening, everybody. The fourth All India Open mock CAT for this year. So let's see how the test was. We are beginning with the analysis first of the quant section. Quite a good test. We'll see first the topic distribution, whether they were easy, difficult, or not, how many questions from which section, which topic. Then we'll map the questions which were easy, which were difficult, expected cut attempts, and expected score versus percentile equivalents. The question paper had 26 questions in the as the last pattern. There were two questions on linear equations, one easy, one moderate. You can see that it was quite well spread this way. One logarithm question which was easy, three questions on numbers, two moderate and one difficult. I have clubbed some of the difficult and very difficult questions together. There were two very difficult or lengthy questions. Partnership had one which was lengthy. Maybe this is the one which was difficult. Two questions from percentages, one easy, one difficult. One difficult question, lengthy question from, maybe this is the one which was very difficult, from permutation and combination. Profit loss had one question, quadratic equation one, and simple interest compound interest one. Surds and indices had two questions, one easy and one difficult. Again, one question each from time and work, time, speed and distance, allegations and mixtures, and averages. Averages was also difficult, or maybe a little more than difficult, calculative. Functions was easy, one question from functions easy, and a good spread over geometry, 6 questions, one easy, 3 moderate, and 2 difficult. Looking at the total summary, we had 7 easy questions, 9 moderate, 8 difficult, and 2 either very difficult or lengthy. However, I still feel that some of the 8 difficult questions were still manageable. The easy questions, let us look at what questions were easy. A glimpse of the easy questions. The first one was on logarithms, number of solutions to a given equation. A very easy question to solve, but a little bit tricky one. Sometimes we find out the number of solutions. Some of the solutions may be invalid, like here. One of the solutions here was invalid. So that was the trick part. Sometimes questions are not just theoretical, conceptual. There's one small pinch of salt added here, the trickiness part. This was that question. Everything easy to solve, very easy to solve. But then at the end, towards the end, there is one small error likely to happen. You have to always check the validity of the solutions that you get. One would become invalid. A question from percentages was quite easy. A number is decreased by 25% by mistake instead of increasing by 25. So now what percentage increase is required to bring it to the correct number? Easy one. Linear equations. Data on prices of pencils and erasers is given. Some pencils and 23 pencils and 25 erasers cost something. 7 and 8 cost something. And you are asked the difference of the prices of a pencil and an eraser. Quite easy one. Simple linear equations given ready-made, solve, and you would have an answer. Profit and loss may appear a little lengthy, but easy. There's a chain of sellers. A manufacturer manufactures and sells to a wholesaler, who sells to a retailer, and who sells to a customer. The cost of customer is given. In every transaction, there is some profit and loss, something is mentioned about that. And then we are asked what is the cost price to the manufacturer. A small link, follow the link, and you would have an answer. Surds and indices. An expression is given, root 3 raised to 8 minus 1 in the numerator and root 3 minus 1 in the denominator. Root 3 raised to 8 plus 1 divided by root 3 minus 1. This can be written as, rewritten as a plus b root 3. So it was a matter of simple application of the identity. And then you are asked what is a plus b. Very simple solving. Circles. Parallel chords, lengths of the parallel chords are given, distance between them is given, and we are asked what is the radius. A very standard, probably a classroom level question. The last was a functions. You are given an fx, a function is defined, and we are told to find f inverse x, f inverse 1. The idea is maybe most of the students might start finding f inverse x and then find f inverse 1. If somebody could observe the function, it is the inverse of itself. Fx is equal to f inverse x. And you did not actually need to solve for fx, f inverse x. Just find f1 and that would be the answer. 9 moderate questions. First on numbers. Minimum difference between a 2-digit number and the square of the sum of the digits. For example, you have a number 12. You add 1 and 2 to get a 3. The 3 square is 9. So 9 would be that x which was defined in the question. X is the summation of the, x is the square of the summation of the digits. And then the difference between the number and the square is to be minimized. Some trial and errors. That is why it is put into moderate. Otherwise, quite an easy process. Not difficult to solve. Maybe time consuming. Some trials were required. Another on numbers. A number is written, a long number is formed by writing the first natural numbers consecutively. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you write 10, which is 1, 0, and 11, 1, 1. You go on writing till 2600. And then a standard question, how many digits have been written? Maybe most of the people should know this. So moderate, not difficult. Quadratic equations. A quadratic polynomial crosses the x-axis twice. That is the data, part of the data. Wherever it crosses, the arithmetic mean and the geometric mean of these two values are given. All you have to do was identify that polynomial. Rather an easy question, not a moderate question. But what makes it moderate rather than easy is AM and GM. Linking the AM with the summation of the roots and GM with the product of the roots. Usually that part might take some time to digest or understand. So that is why moderate. Linear equation. A father distributes money to sons, 3 sons in the ratio given. The sons together or somehow manage to give some money from their share to the daughter of the sister. The remaining amount with the sons equal to the middle brother's share. So links all the data. All we do is now find the total money that was distributed by the father. The amount of money that the daughter got was given 1,83,700 or something. So that was the link and easy to solve. Simple interest, compound interest. The situation was compound interest. The first 4 years of interest was given. The rate of interest is 10%. The interest, the total interest for the first 4 years is given 92,280. What we were supposed to do is find the 5th year's interest. Maybe this sounds very difficult if you try to solve by the equations, first year's interest, second year's. But take any good number to begin with and compare the given situations, and maybe this would be solved within a short time. Fairly average time would be taken, not very lengthy. One more was allegations and mixtures, where an alloy is made up of platinum, gold, and silver. The ratio is given. Now, the data to link the ratio was 36 kilograms of silver should be added to reverse the gold silver ratio. And the question is, how much how much gold was should to be added to reverse the platinum gold ratio? How much gold to be added? So again, from the amount of 36 kilograms of silver, we would get the actual quantities and then actual quantity of gold to reverse the ratio. Lines and angles from geometry, more of an easy question rather than moderate. Three concurrent lines, all six angles are given. Three concurrent lines are there. They will form six angles. All the angles are given as variables. The first angle was A, the second was 2B, the third was 3C, then 4B, 5C, and 6D. And we were to find D. The ideal method would be lengthy. That is why this is considered as a moderate question. But if anybody noticed, vertically opposite angles were given. Links between vertically opposite angles could be found, and the question could be solved quite fast. Polygons, one question from polygons. A smaller square is inscribed in a bigger one. The sides of the bigger by the vertices of the smaller square. That ratio was given as A and B only, not as numbers, in form of A and B. And the ratio of the areas of the two squares were to be done. Quite a moderate question. Not very difficult, not difficult at all. And the last on polygons, ninth one in this moderate question. A trapezium is given. In the trapezium, the two parallel lengths were given. The smaller side and the longer parallel sides lengths were given. Two diagonals were to be drawn and the median was to be drawn. Now the question was, what was the length of the median between the diagonals? What part of the length, not as a fraction, but as an absolute value, what part of the length of the median was between the diagonals? Maybe the purpose of this question was not to question, but to rather give you the solution so that you can remember it well. Among the 8 difficult ones, some I would still consider them as moderate rather than difficult. Percentage. A company makes two models, D3 and B12, more like vitamins, but models. That is what is given. The difference in the sales of two-year comparison data was to compare 2 years, 2019 and 2020. The percentage increase and decrease over 2019 to 2020 were given. 15% decrease, 25% increase, like that. One more data link was given between the difference of the sales of the two components, two models. One was 1.6 less than the other. That was given. And it was also given that in the next year, 2020, it was 6 more. In 2019, it was 1.6 less, and in 2020, it was 6 more. So this together had to be linked. Percentage increase, decrease, difference of the 2 years. That is why a percentage question was a little difficult rather than moderate or easy. And then you are also told that the total cost was same in both the years. What is the change in the absolute value of the profit? What is the change in the profit? Is it increase or decrease? So a lot of calculations, not difficult, but lot of links to be found, understood, and then calculated. So difficult. One of numbers, highest power of 24 in 240 factorial. This I would rather count as moderate. The only question here, difficulty or a change was 24 is not a prime number. Had it been prime number, it would have been a very easy question. But 24 is a composite number. So a little bit of a calculation, maybe moderate, more of moderate than difficult. Surds and indices, a little lengthy question here. A number x is expressed as a summation of two cube roots. X was the cube root of 26 plus 15 root 3 plus cube root of 26 minus 15 root 3. So summation as two cube roots. And then it is asked what is the rational value of x. The process obviously was very simple application of an identity, cubing both the sides. But because of the cube root and square root within the cube root, probably made it a give appearance of difficulty. Partnership had a very lengthy, a little lengthy and difficult question. Three situations for partnership are given. Two people A and B enter into a partnership. A is supposed to manage and get 20% of the profit first. First, from total profit, 20% goes to A, and then the rest of the 80% is divided in the ratio of the investments. So that was the first, that is the given situation and as it happens. And then two hypothetical situations. If everything were shared equally, what would happen? They would still get the same. That was the link between the two situations. They would still get the same. From here, a ratio could be found, the ratio of investment. The third hypothetical situation, the second hypothetical and the third situation was what would happen if everything is shared not equally, not as the given condition, but in the ratio of investment. If the total money is distributed in the ratio of the investments, A would lose 50,000. A doesn't get that 20%, even if he is working as a managing partner. So in that case, he loses 50,000. So comparing these three situations, what was the total profit? That was the question. Yes, a difficult one. Time and work may not be difficult, but maybe error prone, maybe tempting you to make an error. That is a little what made this question difficult. A tank has 700 capacity of 700 liters, two A and B filling pipes whose rates are 8 and 6 liters per minute. C is a drain pipe with 5 liters per minute. Now the working order was BCA, BCA, BCA. In that order, they work for a minute each. Now the question asked, if the order were ABA, what will be the time saved? Any hurried calculation would tempt a student to say that no, there will be no change. And that was the first option. So that was a bit of a tricky part, again, tempting somebody to make a mistake. Otherwise, anybody you calculate, calculations would be quite fair enough, maybe a little lengthy, it might appear a little lengthy, otherwise quite good enough. A standard difficult question from time speed distance, and that also asked in the reverse way. A father is the usual question is that a father goes to school to pick up his son every day. One day the school gets completed over a little early and the son starts walking home. The father, in his usual manner, tries to reach the school, but he sees the son on the way to school, picks him up and reaches home a little early. So that early time is usually given. The savings in the time is given, and the ratio of the speeds is asked. That's the usual case. This was a little reverse situation. The speed is given, The son, usually the father reaches school every day at 5 p.m. Today the son started walking at 3:30. The school completed it at 3:30 and the son starts walking towards home. So the son walks at a speed which is 1/8 of the father's driving speed. At what time did the father pick up the son on the way to the school? He would see the son walking, pick him up and reach home. So at what time was he picked up? So a little reversed question there. That's what probably might even make it easy for those who know this question. Triangles. Area ABC of a triangle is given. There's a point D on AB which divides it in a particular ratio. And there's a point E which divides AC in a particular ratio. And a new triangle ADE is formed. 2 points are there on two sides. So a new triangle is formed with a common vertex. What is the area of that triangle? If the ratios are known, if the equation methodology is known, maybe moderate, otherwise difficult. Because no lengths were given, nothing is given, no angles are given. So maybe where to start might be a problem. Mensuration, the last one. This was difficult. There are squares, there's a square, there's a circle and a triangle of equal thickness. And obviously the same material. 50% of the square was first added to the circle after melting and recasting. Throughout, similarity of the shapes was maintained. 40% of this new circle is cut off and melted and added to the triangle. Now that was the something data related to the areas of the squares and the circles. The information now is about the sides of the triangle. The sides of the triangle increased by 40%. So a link between the side and the area was to be found. Now, instead of doing all this, if 50% of the square were directly added to the triangle, 50% of the square directly added to the triangle, then the sides would increase only by 30%. So again, if this link is found between the area and these length ratios, a relation would be found between the square and the triangle. And again, implemented with the circle, it would give the ratio of the areas. But the only question was again, the confusing part, the ratio of weights were asked. Simple, the ratio of weights would be the same as the ratio of the areas because thickness was constant. Of the two difficult or very difficult or maybe sometimes lengthy questions, one was on averages. 35 distinct numbers are given in ascending order. At least ascending order was given. The average was given. The average of all the 35 was given. 160, if I remember correctly. Now, the average of the first 19 and the last 19 is given. There are only 35, but you still have 19 first and 19 last, which means there's an overlap. The middle number 18th obviously would be over in the overlapping region. And then you are asked what is the maximum possible value of the 18th, the middle number. So a little calculative, you will have to find out the summation of the first 19, summation of the last 19, what is the summation of the overlapping region. And then the problem again, how to maximize the 18th number. So maximizing the top 19, pushing them to the higher level, and then pushing the 18th number and the 19th number to the higher level. So that was what was difficult and lengthy. And the last difficult question was permutation and combination. Parking spaces, 15 parking spaces were there in 3 rows with 5 each. 3 rows having 5 spaces. 15 people had to be allocated. ABC wanted 3 consecutive spaces in a row. D wanted only an end space and he did not want a middle space. So how many? maybe we could break up the question into cases, sub cases. That's why it might be a little lengthy and calculative. Maybe instead of doing cases, sub cases, it could be done better in the, like, deciding who should be first given something. Should it be ABC? Should it be D, or should we start with E? So if you got the right thing, you'd catch the right person to start with. That could even be a little easier. So these are the things that made it difficult. So that was the summary of the 26 questions, chapter wise, a little bit what was the description, gist of the questions. Now, seeing the overview, there were 7 easy questions, and I would expect everybody, I'm talking about a 98 percentiler right now. A 98 percentiler should get all those 7. All 9 of the moderate should be got, but maybe you miss one of them as a difficult. You leave one of them because there's a problem of even the time, 40 minutes only. So maybe you miss one of them and you leave one of them as maybe difficult. So you attempt 8 out of those moderate, and you do some of the difficult time consuming ones. You do 3 of them. Leave the 2 very difficult. So this is what can be expected from a 98 percentiler. 18 attempts. With these 18 attempts and a fairly good accuracy, maybe 15 right, 3 wrong, 3 incorrect, maybe assume because you're attempting a little difficult and moderate questions. So that would be 42 expected score. An expected score of 42 for a 98 percentiler. A 99 percentiler should make at least one less mistake and get 46. And for a 100 percentiler, I'm putting a little higher bar. I'm raising the bar for him, 57. A few more attempts, identifying the easier one, moderate ones, and the difficult ones also. 95 percentiler would probably make one more mistake than the 98 and fall down to 38 marks. 90 percentile should be at around somewhere around 33, and 80 percentile can be at somewhere around 24 marks. Ideally speaking, even if only the easy questions are attempted, 21 marks can be got very easily that way. A few more from the moderate ones, and 24 score should be achieved to get an 80 percentile. So this is the breakup of the percentile score. I would request Vijita madam to take up the verbal section after this. So everybody work hard and stay safe. Vijita madam would probably take up the verbal part now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I stop this.
Let's take a quick look at the VARC sectional. So the pattern was very much on the lines of CAT 2020. We had 26 questions for 40 minutes. There were 4 RCs, 4 passages, 2 of which carried 5 questions, and 2 of the RCs carried 4 questions each. 3 parajumbles, 3 summary questions, and 2 out-of-context questions. You'll find that when we look at an analysis of the various questions and the RCs, this sectional can be marked as a moderate to difficult one. Let's examine the various questions in detail. So let's start with the RCs. The first RC, one to do with biography, was a little challenging in terms of reading content. This was the influence of Beethoven's life and times on his music, how this entire, what was the political happenings of that time, particularly Napoleon and the influence that Napoleon held on Beethoven's life and music. So rather lengthy one. What made this slightly difficult to read is that it had a lot of historical references. It also used some jargon to do with music. So reading that would take you some time. Considering that the passage only had 4 questions and was 665 words, that's pretty long. It is something that you could have chosen to take. There were 3 moderate questions and 1 difficult one. Let's look at the various passages first and then decide which ones we could have considered. The second RC, which is feminism and mythology, you will probably have found this easier to read because the mythology being talked about here was Indian mythology, the story of the stories from the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, a retelling of Sita and her situation, the way in which it is presented. So you will have related to this. There were also a lot of familiar names mentioned, like Devdutt Patnaik or Amish Tripathi, etc. You will have related to this. 720 words, yes, all the passages were rather on the lengthy side and 4 questions only. So is mythological storytelling, can it be used as a tool for changing gender perceptions? That was the discussion of this passage. Moderate to read because, as I said, since you have some sort of background here, relating to these ideas wouldn't have been very difficult. Consider the questions. Most of them were inferences, 3 inferences. The main idea question was a little challenging. One inference, the second inference was a little challenging, but the other 2 were moderate. Okay, so looks like you would have got at least a few questions right here. Let's look at the next one. RC3 was to do with business management, a discussion of who can be considered the world's best CEO. Top names like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, etc. were discussed. So an analysis of top leaders and the parameters which should be considered for evaluation was taken up. Not a long one, 575 words and 5 questions. Considering that, all of these names are what you have heard at some point or the other, and knowing that the author is trying to, compare and contrast these various CEOs from different parameters, it wasn't extremely difficult. So the passage itself made for easy reading, the language, the content, not very dense. And the fact that, it was only 575 words, a short one, should have been something that you take up. 1 question was easy. There was a very easy specific detail question. 2 questions were slightly on the difficult side, 2 moderate questions, but definitely something that you would want to have, you should have taken. RC4, economic growth and gender equality. Again, the area of feminism or gender equality. So where does economic growth and gender equality stand with regard to the Indian population? Is this correlation a positive one? So has economic growth also brought about the right kind of gender equality? So a lot of statistics were used, a lot of points and policies were discussed. Really lengthy one, 750 words and 5 questions. But the lot of data, statistics, and points being mentioned in every paragraph made this slightly dense. All right. The questions, therefore, were quite challenging because the options were rather close to eliminate here. You would get caught between quite a few of the options, particularly those last 2. That strengthening one, which of the following hypothetical situations lends credibility? You would have got caught between 2 options there. Likewise, with that last question, further application, which of these possibilities assumed to be true, or if were to be true, could be taken as a way to, deal with this situation? Now, these are all difficult things, considering that there's so much data, and that's a lengthy passage too. was a slightly heavier one. So let's get back and see which one would have been good for us. Perhaps not the fourth one, considering the length and the heavy data too. The third one, yes, because it was short in length and a topic that you can easily relate to. You're already familiar with all these names. Not very difficult questions, at least three very easy to moderate ones, two slightly challenging ones. RC2, yes, you can read this because you have a background, you understand the background here, so relatable, all right? Perhaps anyone who wants to get into the third RC would have considered the first one over the last one. The last one would have taken you a lot of time. So RC1, RC2, RC3, preferably. RC4 would have been our last option, last choice, because of the denseness of content there. Let's look at the parajumbles. Language was moderate. The first parajumble was a moderate one. It talked of the role of fiscal policy in COVID-19 background. In fact, if you pick this, one of those keywords there, this background in sentence one, you would have realized this is the keyword that clearly means 3-2, which talks of the COVID-19 background that comes before. So sentences 3 and 2 come first, and then this background is a reference to the COVID-19 background. And then you're talking of the monetary policy and the fiscal policy. So if you pick that, it's actually an easy one. You wouldn't take much time at all. If identifying that keyword takes you time, then you would have taken, some time, spent some time here. However, overall, easy. The second parajumble talked of D2C companies, an influencer and social media marketing with regard to D2C companies. It was a difficult one because this one particular, detail, pronoun in sentence one, these, there are two possible things that these can refer to. These can refer to influencer and social media marketing that comes in that first sentence, not sentence one, but the sentence 3, I think, which we mark as the first one. Or does these refer to web store funnel or marketplace funnel? That clash would have confused you, and maybe you would have, ended up with the incorrect sequence here. So certainly a challenging one, and would have taken a lot of time. You could get stuck here and still not get it right. Reading a book and reading aloud to children. Now, this is definitely a moderate one, because as you're reading, if you're able to distinguish that there are two sentences that talk about reading a book, reading a book opens a world of possibilities. What are these possibilities? What does reading a book do? And then how books are normally read aloud to children, because that is a different approach and a different thing. And, it gives a different set of things to children. So if you picked up these two ideas, that you have two distinct ideas being discussed. So a 4-2 link and a 3-1 link, you would easily get this right? So definitely two parajumbles could have been managed in less time. And if you had sensed the challenge here, you would have let go of this one and not taken it. Let's examine the summary questions. Again, overall, the language was moderate, nothing abstract or very difficult. The first summary question, which talked about that good writer, literary presence versus personal presence, which is a better one. 115 words, so sizable one, 100 plus words, would have taken you at least a minute to read. Was difficult because there were very close options, option C and D were very close. Eliminating them is extremely difficult. It was not so much like a lot of details were presented in the options. The options just had very crisply the main idea. So that made it quite challenging. The next question, migratory birds and navigational capacity, innate or acquired. 125 words, again, a lengthy one. When you look at the length, would have taken you over a minute to read, but is actually a moderate one. If your reading is in place by now, and you realize that you can't just read the first few lines, you've got to read the entire paragraph, and that somewhere towards the last few lines, There is mention of how whether it is innate or acquired is an ongoing debate, but that debate is also resolved. There is some consensus about what it is. If you sensed that line, if you picked that line and the last two lines, you would definitely get this right. All right. So that's why it's marked moderate. The third one, negative advertising with no payoff, 125 words, again, heavy. You can see that all the summary questions required some time to read. 100 plus words is not easy. Is a difficult one because the options were very close. One extremely close pair was A and C, would actually catch you very badly. D also, though of course, after you read D, you can eliminate D because it's very negative, um, rather it focuses on the positive aspect. Okay, so D can be eliminated, whereas A and C were like extremely close. So a difficult one because you could get caught here. Okay, so of the summary questions, one that you could take was the second one, 23rd one, and probably, either you're a good reader and you realize that detail in 24 and 22, or stay out of this because the options were definitely close. Out of context, two questions. Again, the language was moderate. Luckily in the last couple of EOMs, you've been getting moderate language with all these non-RC questions. And luckily so, because it's not always very simple, straightforward language. When the language of these questions itself is dense and involves abstract ideas, they can be huge challenges. So the last but one question, question 25, Antifa movement, was an easy one. Because you could see there's distinct pairs. There are these two sentences that talk about Bray's work, and then you have two sentences that talk about Julia Hines and a movie, that movie that she made on this topic of Bray's work, Antifa movement. And then you suddenly find that you're talking about an actor and her performance in that movie. Correct? You very clearly see that it's a misfit. So a sitter, if you just have the patience to read through these sentences, you'll find ki ye to ek sitter hai, absolute sitter, very easy one. 26, on the other hand, is marked difficult. That question about why fish don't exist, because one, the sentences are difficult to read. You'll take quite some time to read and understand that one sentence which quotes the name of the book itself will take you a while, right? Because to read and what it means, you will, take a while. And then the sequence too, that connection you're establishing between 4, 2, 5, 1 is not a very easy, clearly visible one. In fact, you'd be very tempted to connect 4 and 3 because the name Miller is mentioned in sentence 4, and then you have the name Miller, Miller's father mentioned in 3. So that appears like a strong link, unless you understand what these sentences are saying. So certainly not something you should spend your time over. You're bound to get this wrong. Okay. So let's look at the easy ones, easy and moderate ones. Definitely one out of context question, at least one of these summary questions, at least two of the parajumbles that we decided. And if you were able to sense the connection of these very clearly in question 20, even that could be taken. Comparatively, you'll find the parajumbling was much easier than summary and out of context questions. So if you wanted to invest time, you'd probably invest time in parajumbles, which is again in keeping with the trend of the last few years, last 2 years, not last few years. If you go back to years prior to that, you'll find that parajumbles have been extremely challenging with 5 sentences instead of 4, all right? So we also discussed that we'd be taking 3 passages and a few of these parajumbles and roughly around 4 questions out of the non-RC section, the VA sectional. Let's look at where we stand with regard to difficulty level of questions. So 2 questions that we identified as easy, maybe a couple more could be identified, but a lot of them might have their own trickiness, either because the passage is heavy or because that question is a little confusing, or there is a slightly close option, right? So for all these reasons, more number of questions have been marked moderate. Perhaps you can actually put maybe 2 or 3 of these questions under easy category, but a lot of factors have been considered in marking them moderate. Difficult, again, about 12 questions, some of them rather difficult, quite difficult, some of them on the lesser difficult side. However, that's 12 here. So if we say that you have identified those two easy questions, you managed to do that, you managed to identify about 10 odd moderate questions, and you also end up getting a 4 or 5 difficult questions, right? This is where we stand with regard to 98 percentile. So, roughly an attempt of 16 questions, 16, 17, with an accuracy of 80%, that's what we always talk about. We're looking at about a score of 39. 39 is far less than, what we spoke of in the previous EOMs. So that's why we rated this sectional as a rather challenging one. The sheer length of the passages, the trickiness, slight trickiness of the questions and options make it slightly a challenging paper. So 39 for 98 percentile, 43 for your 99 percentile, 57 plus for your 100 percentile, 34, a score of 34 to fetch you a 95 percentile, a score of 31 or 32 to fetch you a 90 percentile, a score of 29 for a 85 percentile, and a score maybe 11 questions attempted and an 80% accuracy of those 11 questions fetches you this score. This is also about a 13 questions attempted at a 80% accuracy. So this is where we stand with regard to verbal. I hope you people had a good time, taking this mock and have a number of learnings drawn from this mock. Thank you so much. I hand over this to Shubham sir. Shubham sir, can you please take over?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I hope everybody is fine and healthy in this time of crisis, and you have all attempted the paper. So I welcome you to the most feared section of CAT, which is usually DILR section. So this time around, if I talk about DILR, it was pretty much on similar lines with regards to CAT. But again, if you see the way the way the sets were put, you can easily understand that the easiest set was the first set. So if I look at the stage of DILR preparation with regards to all the batches, so if I see the preparation, I can say half or somewhere around more than half are at beginner level with respect to DILR. You can say some are at intermediate level who are done with their DILR modules, and only few, I can say only few are at advanced level, right? So if I talk about the planning section and sequencing, it would have been difficult at this stage. But again, if you go with in this section with open mind and using your common sense, you could have had a good outcome from this section. So if I talk about familiarity with the current understanding and with the current knowledge that you guys have, the familiarity would be a little less. And if I talk about the strengths, so pure LI, pure DI, and pure LR, that is not the kind of stuff that you will see in a traditional or normal CAT paper. So there would be a mix. So you can say DI based set or LR based set. So it would not be a typical only one thing at a time, right? And then we have MCQ and non-MCQ questions. So sometimes what makes a question difficult is when you have you have no options with that question. Sometimes a simple questions becomes tough, right? Then you have to think about question selection within a set. So sometimes there is a set, and typically if a set is more on DI, you get to solve some of the questions out of it and you can leave some. But in case of a pure LR, either you'll be able to get all the questions correct, or you will be having problem with all of them, right? So let's start with looking at the sets. So this is the first set, and mind you, the best start you could get from a DILR section was with this set. So if I have to rate all the 5 set, this was an easy set. Just a simple trial and error with putting in values, working out with the values, you could have got all 4 correct. This set could have given you a head start. So what do I mean by head start? Getting first 4 questions correct and first set completely correct is a very good morale booster in this section, right? So if I look at this section, this set was placed at the right place to boost your morale, to get you running with this section. So if I have to judge with the timings, 6 to 8 minutes was fine enough for this set, with wherein you can solve all 4 questions, and I have marked it as the round 1 because this is so easy that if you miss it or if you leave this question because of some reason, you will end up getting confused in other sets. So this was a very good set to start with. 4 questions, 4 correct. You could have made a very good start. Now, if I talk about second question, it was a question on arrangement, but the only thing that made it a little difficult, or I can say moderate, was because you did not had the directions. So directions are not there. Because of that, it becomes lengthy. But can I leave it? Can I leave it? If I see the prize, I have 6 questions attached to it. So if I see the prize, I it seems not to be left for second round. But again, a choice could be made if you are not very comfortable. But again, this becomes a place wherein you can solve the puzzle or solve the arrangement, and you are getting 6 questions out of 6. If you have made the right arrangement, and the only thing is you have to keep in mind is you do not have directions. You have to find out the directions as well. And some of the questions are so simple. How many people are facing north? How many people are to the right of him? So once you are done with it, if you even take 7 to 8 minutes to solve, you will not take more than 2 minutes to mark all 6 questions. So this is a question, this is a set wherein you have to realize that should it be attempted or not, and if you are comfortable with puzzles, as I have seen in past few years that people are very comfortable with arrangement kind of sets, this is a perfect placed second set for you guys. So again, I have marked it round 1 and round 2 because sometimes people do not gel up well with when directions are not given. But again, must do questions. So here again, I have marked 6 out of 6 questions within 8 to 10 minutes. So this was a, you can say, the EOM, where the questions were placed, where they should have been for a student's perspective. Because first 10 questions and all doable ones means this is something that you will not find it. And if you have not maximized this, I think you should work more on your strategy. Now, if I see the third set, again, it was linked towards averages. So you can say this was more of a DI based question, wherein you could have solved 2 questions very easily, and 2 questions would have taken some time because there were some conditions attached to it, and there were 3 cases that were forming. So you could have done 2, left 2. So if I look at the paper till now, you have seen 14 questions and you could have done fairly well with 12 questions, and you could have got fairly good number of corrects, because till this point the questions are not going very high on difficulty level. So I would consider this as a moderate set, because the one of the reason why it becomes a moderate set is it is a theta type of a set. So all 4 questions are type in your answer question, right? So the full set becomes a theta type of a set. The only problem that a person could have is in terms of understanding the calculations. So is it plus minus or minus plus? So if you are given plus 4, so should it be 14 or should it be 16? So that is the kind of understanding you should have, that it could take any of these 3 values. Then you have to consider all the three values and try to solve the question. So two questions could have been solved and two could have been left for round two. And I would say if after doing first 10 questions on the trot correct, I would have said you could have taken a leave on this set and taken it in this round two. Why I am saying round two? Because we had 10 easy or easy to moderate questions. So this becomes moderate and time consuming because we have three cases in each question. So I would say, yes, you could have thought about it to second round. But again, if you give 7 to 8 minutes, if you understand averages well, this is not a tough set. So I would consider it average, moderate, but again, it depends on how comfortable you are with averages as well as understanding of the data that is presented to you. So these two things are very important in this set. So again, this was a set that you could have solved at least two questions because you could have done them easily and all four were theta. So again, round two was a good thought when you go to this section and when you go to this set. Now, if I look at this set, and this is a set wherein you have to make you can say task full chart of tasks, which task should be done after what task and what is the preceding, how many person who all can do a particular task. So again, this is the you can say set where you could have just left it for round because it was lengthy, time consuming, as well as moderate to difficult. Because you have to map, you have to understand who can do it, who would be available. Then there were some certain conditions, which would again, each question was time consuming. So I would say because every question there were some different things to be calculated. So it was not something like once you have made it, you are done to do all six questions. But again, you have six questions and you have options. So you could have thought about considering it. But again, the options were also very close. Options were also very close. So again, this was a set wherein you could have taken a decision to either leave it for good or taken it in the round two because this was, you can say, you can consider moderate to difficult, not even moderate, because every question has something new in it. Every question wanted something new to be solved, right? So again, 10 to 12 minutes on the higher side, 3 to 6 questions. Again, all six MCQs, that is the only reason that I have kept it. You could have either gone in round one or round two. Why I am backing you in round one? Because you have options and you have had some easy questions on your way. So again, this could have been taken up in round one, looking at the options. But again, if you read it closely, if you understand the questions closely, it would have gone to round two. Means if you were to ask me where would I attempt this set, I would have said I would attempt it in the second round, right? Now, if I move to the last one, it is a theta type of a question, but it is an easy question or easy set. Although all the questions are theta type, but again could have been solved easily. And it is the last set. So again, you could have said it could have been round one or round two, but again, doesn't matter because it is the last set. So you can decide you should go for it or not after looking at set number 3 and set number 4. This was comparatively easier than both of them. And the options were not there. So that could have been the only challenge in this paper or in this set. But again, if you understand the language, if you fairly read it carefully, you can easily make out what they are saying and how to solve it. And once you have written the data in a careful, correct way, you would not do a mistake in any of the questions. So again, all 4 questions were connected. That is a very good part on this. As all 4 questions are connected, if I solve, I am getting 4 corrects. So if I look at set number 3 and set number 4, They were not all connected. I had to solve all of them on an individual basis. Although out of six, two were connected, one was not, the other one was not. So again, there were no connection at all, but here you had connection, right? So here you could have actually tried it, and once you are done, you could have done it, right? So it is marked as 7 to 9. And again, you can see I have marked 4 out of 4. So you could have, once you have done it, once you have solved it, 4 out of 4 was possible, quite possible, right? So this was how all 5 sets looked like in this paper. So there were 3 sets of 4 questions each and 2 sets of 6 questions each. So out of the sets with which had 6 questions, one was difficult and one was moderate to difficult, and one was, you can say, easy or easy to moderate. And this was again easy to moderate. So if I look at the DILR section, expected attempts, expected cutoff, I am looking at not a very high cutoff. Again, after telling you that the first 2 sections was easy, but the third set could have taken you by surprise and given you a time, given you some problem with regards to time, right? So this is the you can say percentile versus marks mapping. So for a 98 percentile, the 32 marks would have been the ideal score. 99 percentile would have been 38 marks. 100 percentile, we are looking at something 48 plus. If I go for 95 percentile, 27 marks. Similarly for 90 percentile, 20 marks. And you think about it, 80 percentile, you were done within first 10 questions. So 80 percentile, 7 attempts, 1 incorrect, and you were done with it, right? Now, if I look at the overall expected cutoffs and score and percentile mapping. So overall, a 58 marks would fetch you 80 percentile. So 58 marks is not very tough. If you just go by 20 marks from each sections, so that is not more than 8-9 questions from each sections, you could have scored 80 percentile in this paper. If I look at 90 percentile, again you are looking at 71 marks. So 71 marks is somewhere around, if you divide it equally, I'm just saying equally, if you divide it equally, you could have gone for it by 24, 24, 24, and that is somewhere you can expect a 10 question with 80 percentile, 80% accuracy. 95 percentile, not that far, not that far. If you increase your marks by 10, 10 in verbal section and con section, you are at 95 percentile. And mind you, if you are getting a 95 percentile, you are very much in range to up your score by the time the CAT comes to make it to the 99s of the section, right? Similarly, if I go for 98%, that is very much the target for everyone, and that would be the minimum target that you should eye upon, and that is 102 marks. So that is somewhere around 34 marks per section. And this time around, as the DILR section was a little tough and quant was a little easier, so I could have said you could have balanced it with more score in quant and less score in DILR. Plus, you have 2 less questions in DILR as well. So again, this kind of validates the lower score in DILR as well as higher score in quant with not much difference in difficulties. Now, if I go for 99 percentile, again, you can see the jump in the overall marks is very less. But if you see from 99 to 100, the jump of marks is very high. Why it is very high? Because the expectation from 100 percentile is completely different, right? So if you look at it, you have a 14 marks jump in verbal section, 10 marks jump in DILR section, and 11 marks jump in QA section. So you can see overall there is a big jump here. again. So the difference between 99 and 900 would always be this much. So again, the ideal thought process or ideal target should be 99 and above or 98 and above, because 99 and above and 98 and above are just 2 mistakes away. So if you think like this, if you have attempted same number of questions, you have made one more mistake, you are 4 marks down. So similarly, 2 more mistakes and you are from 99 to 98. So that is where you need to understand that accuracy with attempts is the only thing that you should go for. If you are only going for attempts, it will not help in long run. You should always work on accuracy with attempts. So first try to increase your accuracy, then go for more attempts. Okay, so this was from my side. This was the analysis of EOM4. I hope it has helped you guys to understand the paper, to understand what is expected from you guys and how you can improve upon that. Okay, so that's it from my side. God bless you all. Stay safe, stay home,